Hello everyone. Thank you very much for attending to this webinar. Today I'm going to talk about Ellipses, a new corneal GP lens system. Okay, and let's talk about also if there's any reason why you should keep trusting the corneal GP lenses. Think that I believe so. So let me see if I can transmit you some confidence on the GP lens designs and make you believe that there are still many options to fit these lenses, many reasons to fit these lenses. So, in order to start this webinar, I would like to start with some questions. Why corneal GP lenses are no longer the first choice? We are living in times that the scleral lenses are living a boom, ortho-K lenses, hybrid lenses, corneoscleral lenses, and what about the back to basis? What about the corneal GP lenses? Why we are not selecting this lens as a first option? Could it be due to its initial comfort with the lens, with GP lenses, price issue, handling, fitting limitations? I mean, there's a lot of situations that where we cannot fit a corneal GP lens. Technical obstacles while fitting. I mean, is a design that requires a lot of a high technical knowledge. Mm, I don't believe so, but let me launch the question. It's a matter of design's availability, or is there any other reason? So, Lenticon tried to research a little bit and to be more precise from the technical support department. We analyzed the situation, we made a survey, and we defined the podium with in which the first position you can find initial comfort. Okay, it's a reality. It's not the most initial comfort design when you start fitting. Okay, it could be a reason why a corneal GP lens is no longer a first choice. Fitting limitations, I mean, is there are so many challenging corneas that cannot be fitted with a corneal GP lens, and technical obstacles. Okay, probably it's a design that requires some technical knowledge regarding how to analyze fluorescein patterns, how to understand the movement of a corneal GP lens. If it's moving a lot, how can I can decrease that movement? If it's too tight, how can I increase the movement? Okay, so these were the three reasons that we found uh, to 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 answer to this question, to why a corneal GP lens is no longer a first choice. But let's try to understand the GP lens situation through another point of view, and let me ask you if is there any advantage of fitting a corneal GP lens? Of course, there are several advantages. One of them is the diversity of designs. You can have reverse curved designs, multifocal designs, aspheric designs, multi-aspheric, toric, back toric, front toric. You can find a wide range of designs. Historically, is a well-known product, so it's very easy to convince the patient to wear this kind of lenses. It's not like to convince the patient to fit a scleral lens, because the patient can see the size of that lens and some of them get scared. Um, User-friendly price, it's also an advantage for to fitting a GP corneal lens, because other specialty lenses are way too expensive. And GP lenses are also, corneal GP lenses are also a high product with a high profitability level rate, sorry, with a high profitability rate for the eye care professional. they are lenses very easy to handle, and when you think to fit multifocal contact lenses, you think automatically, you know that corneal GP lenses are the multifocal lenses with a high visual performance rate. Of course, as long as its fitting allows a good centration. But mm, as far as I'm aware, uh, no no multifocal soft lenses can have such visual performance as a GP lens. Scleral lenses, yeah, you can find some designs that can give an acceptable visual performance, but in a general way, GP corneal lenses provide a better visual performance regarding multifocal designs. And the study of a university institute in Spain showed that 70% of corneal GP fittings, when well fitted with the correct diameter, correct landing, correct base curve, 70% of the corneal GP fittings are successful. So why not keep trusting in these lenses? Can a corneal GP lens provide a better comfort? If we talked previously that I told you previously that initial comfort was the first reason, the main reason why GP corneal lenses are no longer a first option. So can I do it more comfortable? Of course, by playing with two main parameters. One of them is the overall diameter. Okay, and let me ask you, why should we keep fitting small corneal GP lenses? Do you know why GP lenses are fitted with small diameters? So I can answer you, because previously the available materials had a very low decay, so it was very difficult to provide oxygen to the cornea. So the strategy was to fit a small lens to avoid covering all the corneal surface, and so we could keep providing a good oxygen flow to the cornea. But right now, with the boom of the scleral lenses, corneal scleral lenses, with the boom of the research and technology, you have a wide range of permeable materials. You can have high decay materials, so the size is no longer a meaning of corneal edema, corneal hypoxia. It's no longer a sign of that. So can we fit right now big corneal GP lenses? Of course, and I call you to do that. Okay, you can find that lenses would be very, very comfortable in its initial. Okay, if you try to compare with soft lenses, it's not the same thing, but the initial comfort can increase a lot with bigger GP lenses. Okay, and the stability, because stability of a corneal GP lens is also a meaning of comfort. So here you can find a pair of peer review articles where the authors, the research team tried to figure out the application and the effect on the advantages of playing with the overall diameter in corneal GP lenses, and they found that the as the better performance was found, the best performance was found with medium high diameters. Okay, small lenses had a less level of lens performance. Yeah, you can try to find these peer review articles and read a little bit about it. But so the main goal of these peer review articles was to show that bigger diameter, better performance, and better comfort. Okay, and what about the second parameter that can give you a very good, a better comfort, a better initial comfort? So there's the peripheral alignment, the edge lift. Okay, ellipsis lens is a spheric aspheric design in its back surface. The optical zone, the back optic zone is spherical, and after the back optic zone, you will find two aspheric zones responsible to provide um, a more natural landing on the cornea and can provide you a better edge lift. So better comfort, better centration, better stability, and better tear layer uh, exchange. Okay. Uh, Thanks to statistical analysis on the whole bunch of lenses manufactured by Lenticon, we were able to identify 5 main levels of corneal of lens eccentricity, from standard, med 2, flat, and flat 2. And as you keep increasing the eccentricity, you will increase the edge lift. So ellipsis lenses can be fitted in a wide range of corneal conditions. So what's so special about ellipses? More than a contact lens design, it's a GP fitting system. So the key of this system is this 30 lens trial set. In the blue color, you can find 10 lenses, the ellipsis standard design for regular corneas with an overall diameter of 9.8. Okay, the base curve value selected in these 10 lenses can give you a very good range of possibilities to fit in a lot of patients, more or less between 86 and 90% of the patients. Okay. With orange color, you will find Ellipses KC, a design more specific for irregular corneas, where where you will find different base curve values specific for irregular corneas, different eccentricities, and a smaller lens, 9.6. Okay, also 10 lenses. And with the purple color, you will find other 10 lenses to finish the 30 lens trial set, and the purple color corresponds to the ellipses SE design, semi-scleral. And what is the main reason for this design to be in the trial set? Because you can do refits, and you can solve the centered lenses with ellipses SE. And also, if you want to, I also invite you to I encourage you to fit ellipsis SE in new GP corneal lenses wearers, with this lens, because due to its diameter 11.2, I can ensure you that you'll find that the patient's reaction is going to be more pleasant to see. It's not the typical reaction of the patient that is crying, expecting for you to remove the lens. No, this is a much more comfortable lens. Of course, you don't need to fit 11.2 to all your patients. You can select smaller diameters or even higher diameters. But I invite you to trust in Ellipses SE, because the patient's reaction will surprise you. And how to fit ellipses? It's a very simple lens to fit, like a normal aspheric GP lens. So you have to define if you are going to fit regular cornea or irregular cornea. If you are going to fit regular cornea, you can select ellipsis standard or SE due to its values on the trial set. You can see values specific for regular cornea, and you just need to define the amount of corneal astigmatism. If it is smaller, till up to 0.75, you decide the diameter you want to fit, 9.8 the standard or 11.2, and you follow this rule. If the corneal astigmatism of that cornea is a little bit higher, and you are going to fit a 9.8 lens or 11.2 lens, so you need to follow this rule. It's a spheric lens. It's not a toric one, so we don't recommend to fit this lens in corneal astigmatism, in regular corneal astigmatism higher than 2 diopters. But what if you have a patient with a 2.5 diopters of corneal astigmatism, regular one? You can change the way you calculate the lens, try to calculate it as an irregular cornea. Okay, you can fit ellipses KC or SE also due to its parameters in the trial set. So change the way you calculate it. You can calculate it following this rule, and you can fit in slightly higher corneal astigmatism. Okay, regular I'm talking about, because in keratoconus and corneal transplants and traumas, you can, or other ectasias, I can ensure you that you will find higher and much higher corneal astigmatism values, but those values are irregular, so you can fit without problems the KC and SE designs, calculating its base curve following this formula. And the fluorescein patterns, nothing different than the normal aspheric lens. This is the ideal one: parallel fluorescein distribution without corneal bearing, correct edge lift, and good lens centering and movement. If you have a steep lens, you will find the central pooling. So to solve that problem, here are the recommendations: flatten the base curve, decrease diameter, or increase the back optic zone diameter. But this third option is never necessary, so try to follow these solutions in this same order. If you have a flat lens, of course, you will find a very excessive edge lift and a central bearing that can produce corneal staining. So let's apply the solutions in this order: steepen base C, increase diameter, and if you need, increase the back optic zone diameter. But as far as I'm aware, it is never necessary to do that. With the base curve and diameter, that's enough. If you are fitting ellipses in irregular cornea, the fluorescein patterns change a little bit. So the ideal fluorescein pattern is the three touch point. Probably you are familiar with that. The three touch point, you can see a slight apical bearing, a feather touch, a mid peripheral bearing to stabilize the lens, and a correct edge lift. Okay. If you have a steep lens, you will find the trapped bubbles inside, a central pooling, and an insufficient edge lift. So in order to solve that, you need to flatten the base curve, increase lens eccentricity, or decrease the lens diameter. If you have a flat lens, it's easy to identify. You can see the central bearing, corneal staining, so you have to steepen the base curve, decrease the lens eccentricity to decrease the edge lift, and or increase the lens diameter to steep that lens. Some charts to help you to solve some problems like troubleshooting. Regarding edge lift, if you have an insufficient edge lift, less than 0.5 millimeters, you should increase eccentricity. For example, if you have a matte eccentricity lens and you don't have a correct edge lift, you have an insufficient, you should increase it to matte 2, flat, or flat 2. It's a possibility. Remember that as long as you increase the level of eccentricity, you are increasing the edge lift. If you have an excessive edge lift greater than 1 millimeter, so you must decrease the eccentricity, keep the base curve as you have. If the central fitting is correct, and the problem it's only in the edge lift, so decrease the eccentricity. If you have a flat 2, you can go down to a flat, matte 2, or matte. This second chart, this right chart, is a general overview of for a troubleshooting. I mean, if you have a lens riding low, you have to flatten the base curve, increase diameter, increase eccentricity. Okay, and other general situations that you can find while fitting a corneal lens. So you can have this slide nearby to check and to see the tips to solve solve those problems. So in which corneal conditions is indicated ellipsis? You can fit ellipsis in regular cornea, irregular cornea, and also in presbyopic patients, no matter if they have regular corneas or irregular corneas. So indications for fitting ellipsis: almost everything. Okay, remember that probably you can find some challenging corneas where it's really tough to fit a corneal GP lens. Okay, it's difficult to give a solution to all the population with the same lens design. But with the ellipsis system, you can cover, as I said previously, between an 86, 90, 92% of the GP patients. In order to finish the technical part of this lecture, this webinar, I would like to introduce you the Ellipses Calculator, and it's a tool that it's already available. You can order it to Spectrum International, and you have two options: initial lens calculation or lens recalculation. If you have already fitted a custom lens and you need to change parameters, so this tool will recalculate the new lens to order. So in the first screen, you will find some fields to populate to input the values, and this calculator will calculate empirically the lens to order, or if you have the ellipsis trial set, it will recommend the trial lens to start fitting. So if you select that trial lens, that lens would be identified automatically here, and you just need to indicate the over-refraction, if you need to change base curve, periphery, diameter, and it will recalculate the new lens to order. And if you need a multifocal design, you can click in this button, and by indicating the pupillary diameter in medium light conditions and the reading gauge value in spectacles, it will calculate the final ellipsis multifocal lens to order. Okay, and the last screen is the second option. If you have already fitted a custom lens, you can identify here by inputting its parameters, and you just need to indicate the over-refraction changes that you want to do, and the lens will be automatically calculated. To finish this webinar, let's talk a little bit of market share. We made a research, and in the International Contact Lens Prescribing Survey Consortium showed us that the international trend in RGP lenses is still the spherical corneal GP lens. Okay, you can see the toric lens has 15, 14, 13 market share, and in other you can find corneoscleral, scleral lenses, hybrid lenses, so they have a 12% market share. So talking about market, talking about opportunities, talking about money, corneal GP lenses are still a very profitable option for the eye care professional. And Lenticon tried to study its own numbers, not regarding the general or international trend, but let's see Lenticon inside. And we have a 40% of share for spherical and aspheric GP corneal lenses. So, okay, there are other designs that are growing, but we still have more spherical and aspheric lenses. So there's a market opportunity. There's still a market opportunity for these lenses. There are technical reasons to keep trusting in corneal GP lenses. So I think everything is clear. But that's not enough. Let's and what about the eye care professional's opinion? What does the eye care professional think? So we made a market survey also, and we found that the most common obstacles while fitting corneal GP lenses were chair time and technical aspects. The professional is still thinking that it is a product that requires a high technical knowledge. Okay, but the technical aspects, if you need technical knowledge for fitting a corneal GP lens, it has a greater relevance. It is even more important in other specialty contact lens modalities like sclerals, hybrids, etc. So talking about specialty product as corneal GP lenses, sclerals, hybrids, technical aspect of its fitting is an obstacle that the eye care professional would find while fitting it. But while fitting corneal GP lenses, the technical aspect is not so important as it is in other specialty contact lens modalities. More than half of the eye care professionals do not fit sclerals in that market survey that we carried out, and less than 1/5, I mean 20%, less than 20% of the eye care professionals do not fit corneal GP lenses. So the vast majority do not fit sclerals, and a few minority do not fit corneal RGB lenses. And half of that, 20% of eye care professionals would fit corneal GP lenses if they had help or some tool for its fitting. I mean, tools like the Ellipses Calculator identified that I told you about in the previous slides. I don't know, but I don't know about you, but I still believe there are reasons to keep trusting corneal GP lenses. I don't know if there still any doubt for you. So I don't know. I hope that with this webinar I was able to explain a little bit better of the reality of the GP corneal lenses, possibilities, a new lens system like Ellipses that can make your fittings easy, comfortable, with a very high rate of initial comfort. So let's see if if I was able to convince you, or at least share a little bit of my confidence on this lens design. Thank you very much. Bye bye.